on the wall?
Yeah. So we are actually starting. We've got it. Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
I don't know where to put my arms.
Okay, well, just don't rock the table, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, here are the rules. Let's just have a few ground rules before we start.
Sure.
So definitely, let's just try not to cut each other off.
Okay.
Whereas that's you cut me off. You don't cut me off. And if you're gonna say something, just try and finish it.
Okay.
So don't like just start something and then just stop.
Sure.
You know,
Are you referring to a particular incident?
No, just like go follow through with the anecdote.
Okay.
But if it's not a good anecdote, abort.
So you're saying that you have the right to cut me off if you think it's boring?
If it's boring, I will cut you off.
Okay. And do I have the same right with you?
No.
Okay.
No, you can. You
Okay.
can.
No, you will want to end this if I do actually cut you off.
No, let's just try not to cut each other off.
Okay.
Okay. And if you're slouching too, I'll get annoyed just because
Okay.
you sound weird when you slouch. And just try and keep your voice upbeat.
Okay.
Nice, friendly.
Sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And then
Any
other
more
rules.
rules?
Oh, I think we can swear. I think that's fine.
I think that's fine.
But just try not to be too negative. I just
Yeah,
think
sure.
just stay away from bitching
That makes sense.
about public figures. We can bitch about,
Friends.
Yeah.
And each other.
Because they're not going to listen.
Yeah.
But that's it, really.
Okay.
Okay, cool?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So what did we want to talk about?
Well, let's first of all talk about what we're wearing today.
Okay.
Because everybody wants to know about that.
Should we be talking to each other or should we directly?
No,
get
we
to
don't know
the
that's
camera?
there.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
You ignore that.
Okay.
Okay? No, you have to ignore You just can't, can you? You're
Okay.
trying to get your good side onto it too.
Okay, yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing is, you've actively chosen to sit where your good side is on view, whereas I don't know which.
No,
my good
I'm
side
sitting
is.
directly front facing you,
Okay.
communicating with you, whereas
Okay.
you look like you want to get out of this situation.
I don't want to get out of this situation.
Okay, fine. So
Okay.
you're wearing your slutty dress. That's the first thing we'll say. It's the dress that when you wear, people do stop and stare. Not because you look good, just because it's just so, it's like a very bright, clingy fabric.
Sure.
And
It was a risk. I knew
it's
that
a
this was
massive
a risk.
Yeah. And
I
you've lost
wanted
a bit
to
of
see-
weight lately, so it does look better than it did at Halloween. At Halloween, it was like obnoxious.
Okay.
Now it's kind of like,
Good to
okay,
know.
she's confident. You look
Okay.
like a confident woman.
Well, I think I mainly put it on to test our relationship.
You only wear it when you wore it on one of the final days of my writing deadline when you were helping me, and you walked in wearing it, and it was such a risk.
It was a bold move, but I think it's because I wanted to see how our relationship has improved, to see if you could handle me wearing a tight dress around in front of you and maybe not shout at me. And you survived the whole time.
Yeah, because we do have a problem when you look good. I hate you.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's not that you look good in the dress. You do.
Sure.
You definitely look attractive in it. But it's just such.
It's
like,
quite loud. It's louder than I would like.
Yeah, it just shows off everything, and just you can't help but look at your body.
Okay.
And I just hate people like that. You should be covering up at all times.
Okay. Well,
And-
you've done
Well,
that
I
exact same
chose
thing. You're covering up your entire body. A few bodies you could fit under there.
Okay, so BB's basically wearing a what's the fabric? It's like a stretchy
It's a stretchy sort of cotton.
cotton.
I don't know what fabric's that.
It's the ribbed material.
Yeah.
Anyone who wears a stretchy ribbed material wants to show off their figure. So yeah, very Scooby-Doo, very short, clingy fabric.
And also these sleeves. Can you imagine these sleeves?
You would never have worn those kind of sleeves 6 months ago.
I know.
What's happened?
I think I've just decided not to care so much.
You've grown in arm confidence.
Well, no, I haven't really, but I've grown in fake arm confidence. If I pretend to have arm confidence, maybe the arm confidence will come.
Yeah, and your arms will just magically get better.
You're such a bitch.
I do think that I've been doing that more lately. I've been
Yeah,
wearing
yeah.
more strappy tops,
Exactly.
which I've
I
never
mean,
done.
we're not quite at a cap sleeve yet.
No, no. And not at a sleeve which is like a it's what's that word? It's like all. I don't know what the word is. It's not a strappy top, but it doesn't come over your shoulder at all. It's
Like a sleeveless top.
a sleeveless top. Oh my god,
Like
the
a muscle
confidence!
tee. Yeah, something like that.
It's like what Jennifer Aniston would wear in Friends when she was at
Exactly.
her
You have to be
thinnest.
incredibly tanned and holding a bottle of Lucozade to pull that off.
Anyway, you do look very nice.
Thank you. So do you.
BB got catcalled on the way here, and she put on a weird accent and
I
responded.
didn't.
You
didn't.
did. You were like 10 out of 10.
No. He asked how handsome he was out of 10. He looked like he might get angry if I didn't say anything lower than 10. So I just responded in a joyful way.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just thought you were saying 10 out of 10 in a weird accent for no reason.
Did you think I was just saying 10 out of 10 to him in response? He asked me how handsome he was
I
out of
thought
10.
he asked how your day was going. Just like, I've never heard you respond like that.
Like I was trying out a new catchphrase.
Yeah.
I didn't put on an accent.
Anyway, I was furious because I'm wearing it's the hottest day of the year. It's hotter than Jamaica today in London. And I am wearing a dress that I bought when I first found out I was pregnant in the thinking that I will wear this when I'm really looking really pregnant. It's like an airy neon green check fabric. It sounds disgusting, and it is actually quite disgusting.
I think it's nice.
But
it looks like what the girls on Instagram wear when they're trying to look like little girls, but also like sexy women.
Sexy fucking women, yeah. That's what I want to look like. That's my, yes. Anyway, it's, I still don't actually look pregnant enough to wear it, so I just look like I'm wearing a sack.
You do look pregnant enough.
I don't. I still don't think I look pregnant. Anyway, so I was annoyed because at the coffee shop me and Bibi went to on the way here, the coffee shop barista didn't look at me and he only looked at Bibi, and that happens a lot.
I mean, I was ordering.
You were ordering and paying and being like flirty.
I wasn't
as usual.
being
You're always
flirty.
flirty with baristas.
No, I'm not.
Hi.
It's because I used to be a barista, so I know how important it is to be kind to them and smile.
Yeah, I forgot that you worked for 2 months at Yumcha.
6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
You did not work there for
I
6
worked
months.
there for 6 months. I did.
You ate a
Part-time.
lot of cake during that period of time, didn't you? You ate a lot of cake. You gobbled. Did you ever eat customers' cake? Or was
No,
it just
Jessie, Jesus Christ. We got given free cake on our lunch breaks, okay? Sorry, whoops, I'm human. But didn't realise the cakes that you see in Yumcha or any other kind of coffee chain around that type, they keep the cakes frozen in logs for months and months and months and months before they're actually served.
Are you
so
joking?
the cake that you're eating, that you think is this fresh, lovely, homemade piece of, wonderfulness, it's actually 6 months old at least.
That's disgusting.
It was really disgusting.
But it still tastes good.
Oh, it still tasted good, so I had it every day.
You did have it every day.
I
You
did
gained
have it
a
every
lot
day.
of weight.
I gained a lot of weight in that year. In my after sixth form, before adulthood, that was
That was a bad year.
dark
But you
time.
didn't know, did you? You didn't know.
I just thought that life was going to be good. I
Yeah.
thought that adulthood was going to be this easy breezy, lovely journey of wonderfulness.
Yeah.
And it turned out to just be terrible.
The beginning of the end.
Yeah, absolutely the beginning of the end. I'd had the good days.
Yeah.
So
I remember that so clearly. I drove past it yesterday and I just thought, oh, that's when Bibi got fat. But you didn't know, and that's the sweet thing about people who gain weight and they don't know.
Yeah, no.
I really like those people.
I remember when you gained loads of weight, and we had a sort of conversation about it, and you stormed out the house when Mummy suggested that maybe you try and lose
weight,
some.
yeah. But let's just clarify, my weight issue wasn't because of cake.
Okay.
It was because of soy.
Okay.
And that's what our podcast is going to be about. The
Different ways that you can gain weight.
No. It's going to be about soy.
Okay.
Just about soy.
I mean,
and
you
how
were
it's-
to be-
No, hang on. Soy is evil, and you should stay away from soy.
I
That's
agree.
the bottom line, and that's what I want to spread the message of. Women who order a soy latte need to be stopped. It is evil, okay? And fair enough, I did eat a lot of soy yogurt.
You ate a whole tub of soy yogurt every day.
A whole
didn't
tub
you?
every day because I thought it was low calorie
Yeah.
and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was eating cake.
No.
So
Okay,
I thought if I
maybe
just...
let's just drop the cake angle because it really wasn't that much cake.
It was just a cake a day.
It wasn't a cake a day.
A
Maybe
slice
like
of
a cake twice or three times a week.
Yeah, which is still quite a lot of cake. Anyway, I did eat a whole tub of soy yogurt every day instead of dinner, thinking that would make me lose weight. Unfortunately, for people who have polycystic ovaries, soy reacts quite badly with your hormones and stuff. And so I gained 2 stone in 6 weeks. So it was quite drastic. And also soy, if you eat a huge amount of soy, because I also was eating tofu and stuff, it makes you have a weird thyroid issue. So I was freezing all of the time.
And you did start to grow a bit of hair on your face. I remember I would look at the side of your face and it would be sort of soft with fur.
Yeah, so I had a hairy face and I was freezing, so I would have to wear gloves inside the house. And it was this period of time when I was a young actress and very neurotic about other actresses getting jobs. So I would just spend my entire day shivering with a hood up and gloves on inside, checking who's got jobs on IMDb
Yeah.
and how old they were.
Sure. I mean, the fact is, once I got past 21, which is how old Kate Winslet was in Titanic, I mean, my life has been shit ever since then. Because I'm never going to reach that point. But I also now don't look at IMDb or
No,
Wikipedia
you just have to stay
anymore.
away from
You
IMDb.
really just have to stay away from that shit.
Yeah. So anyway, we both have had our weight issues.
Yeah. But I think we're fine now.
Yeah, we're fine now. And that's not what the podcast is going to be
No.
about, is it? No.
No.
We do talk a lot about weight. Though.
Yeah, but I think that's because it's so taboo to actually talk about weight now in wider society. Because, and importantly, the body positivity movement has meant that we're trying to sort of dismantle the emphasis on women looking, a certain way all the time in order to be happy, to be validated. That's awful. You should be allowed to look any way and be respected and be beautiful. But that doesn't necessarily mean that our issues with weight and the way that we've grown up in the world that we've grown up in, which wasn't body positive for a very long time, doesn't mean that that's now invalid.
Or going to disappear.
Exactly, because it's a part of our brain chemistry to know how many calories are in something.
Yeah.
It would be mean to take that away from us because we've literally grown up that way.
Yeah, and it'd be really interesting to see how women who are 5 years younger than you deal with weight and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's so PC now. Everything is we're so careful about talking about weight. When I was little, if somebody was a bit chubby, you would just call them chubby affectionately. And now, if somebody calls my daughter chubby, I'm immediately pounce. Like, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Yeah, because you don't want her to grow up with that.
don't want her to grow up with any issue. And it's weird because I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I almost think that the girls that we know who've grown up without any weight issues, so they've never had to worry about their weight. They've always been naturally slim, probably gained a little bit of weight as they went to university and then just lost it again naturally.
Yeah, but like in a sexy way. Like they just kind of like filled out their clothes
Like
in like a
boob weight.
sexy way. Yeah, a boob weight. That's just so fucking unfair.
Yeah, but they aren't people that I like.
No, they have no soul. They haven't had any internal struggle, so they're empty vessels.
I'm so schooled being in this industry that you have to be thin to be successful. And everyone now makes out, oh no, it's actually about how quirky you are and how different you are.
Oh yeah, no, that stick thin model that they cast as the lead in that film. Oh no, they cast her because of her personality.
Her amazing,
it's
shiny
so fucking insulting. Because if it really wasn't about weight, then why would every single lead look the same?
Yeah.
So
they still are.
It's just an insult to our intelligence.
Yeah. So I think things have to change. And they are slowly. Like, I think we're more accepting of girls that aren't like stick thin at auditions, but at the same time, it is still the pencil thin women on TV who are the lead actresses.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's just close the weight topic.
Yeah.
But basically, I think that we've both chosen quite bright outfits today because we wanted to feel good. It does make you feel better, doesn't it?
Definitely wearing bright colours. It sort of makes you feel like you are a nice part of the environment rather than just sort of blending into it.
Well, I've been wearing the same leggings every day for 6 months because they're the only ones that fit me, and because I'm too proud to buy pregnancy clothes.
Which you really should start to do. There are some nice pregnancy clothes out there.
There really aren't. They're all disgusting. But my leggings have a hole in the back, and I've been wearing them every day. They're the only ones who fit over my stomach now. And I just I was in Topshop. I was in Westfield the other day, and I was looking around all these nice clothes, and I felt all at once that I need to buy everything. And then on the other hand, actually, I don't want to buy anything ever again. I just want to be free from possessions and belongings. And it's weird that lockdown has made me question every single bit of my life in such a different way. I've never thought about my stuff before in such a kind of...
I either want to have everything or nothing at all. Like, I want to be Elon Musk about it.
Yeah.
Just sell all of my possessions. But also at the
Has
same
he sold
time...
all his possessions?
Yeah, he sold all of his houses and all of his cars. I think he's kept like a minimal amount so that he can live. But it was supposed to be some big grand statement about the fact that he doesn't need anything, doesn't rely on anything.
I found it so funny because he's had a kid with Grimes. Is her name Grimes?
Yeah.
Is that her actual name? No, she's called like Lizzie or something.
She wouldn't have been christened Grimes, Jessie.
Anyway, so she wanted to keep it a secret, the sex of their baby, and was like, we're just going to raise the baby gender neutral and have bring it up. We don't feel like we need to disclose what sex the baby is. And for months. And then somebody tweeted Elon Musk being like, boy or girl?
And he just said,
boy.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's a perfect sort of depiction of the difference in the sexes, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, this baby will be gender neutral, the one that's in me right now, but it will be tiny.
How was your pregnancy scan yesterday?
So I had a midwife appointment yesterday. This pregnancy has been very different to my other 2 pregnancies because obviously during the virus, they essentially see you once at the scan to check you are actually pregnant, and then again at the second scan to check that everything's okay, and then they kind of leave you to it.
Yeah.
And then you have a couple of midwife appointments, whereas usually you have quite regular midwife appointments and you feel quite like looked after. And it's just really strange because women who are first time pregnant at this period of time, I think it would be absolutely terrifying because you're so scared. I'm scared still, but you're so scared and you just don't get looked after in the same way. Anyway, I went to have a midwife appointment and they measured me and they immediately rushed me in for an emergency scan because apparently the baby's quite small, or they thought my bump was quite small. And I tried to say it's because I have excellent stomach muscles and stuff like that, but they didn't really take that on board. So I had the emergency scan and yeah, it is just a small baby.
Yeah, which is fine. That'll be so much easier for you when it all comes down to it.
Yeah, no, it's going to fly out. But at the same time, I am slightly worried because I wasn't vegan for the first 2 pregnancies. And now I'm worried that maybe my veganism and my vanity has made this baby like Tom
deficient.
Thumb.
Yeah, but then you have to think about businesswomen in the 80s who were sort of smoking at their desk and like working on like a big chunky computer all the while being pregnant. And those babies turn out to be lovely.
Really?
Well,
I really want to
think
know-
about
yeah.
all the adults in the world. Some of them had to have had mothers that weren't living their healthiest life.
Yeah.
I think that it's the human body's design structure means that basically everything that can be given to the baby is given to the baby, and then the mother just suffers. The
Yeah.
baby is going to be all right most of the time. I don't
Yeah.
think you need to worry.
Okay. Just be
Anyway, be a cute little baby.
tiny.
Add it to our collection of little people. I
Yeah.
can't say little people, can I?
How do you feel about the fact that we're now in August and lockdown seemingly has...
And we would have been in Edinburgh now.
We would have been in Edinburgh right now doing our show every day, which I think is partly the reason why we've decided to do something like this where we, a podcast or whatever.
Sure.
Even though
Everyone has done a podcast.
Everyone, I mean, apparently 10,000 podcasts were launched a day during lockdown.
Yeah.
Isn't that terrifying?
I find it terrifying, but I also find it uplifting in a weird way.
The hope.
Because it's so hopeful, isn't it? This idea that you are this voice of reason, you can channel something out of you and people will want to listen to it. 10,000 people a day doing that in their own bedrooms, trying to set it up, trying to make sure the lighting's okay, and then thinking about what they're going to say and how they're going to come across. That is actually really sweet.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily people who are, it's just people who are doing a podcast. It's not necessarily people in the industry or people who are comedians or like scientists. It's just like Karen from accounting.
Yeah. But why did we decide to do it now?
I don't know why I said Karen either. That Karen's not the name to say right now. Amelia from accounting is doing a podcast about her bedroom. But
why did we decide to do it now?
Well, I think I would like to have some kind of voice at the moment, and I found that Instagram has changed for me lately, partly because I don't trust it anymore. I don't know why. I don't think I ever trust social media, but I think it's something different to me now. I feel very exposed on it, and I feel quite timid and question everything I post. And I never used to be like that. I used to post 5 photos a day of collages.
Yeah.
And then as I've grown older and become more bitter and, life has happened, I just think I've become more questioning of everything. And like, you need to have a reason to say something, and you have to have a voice. If you're going to use your voice, make the voice something, make it interesting, make it important.
Yeah, but I think that that's a sort of double-edged sword, because if you give Instagram that sort of level of importance, because it can be used as a really useful tool, and it has become this sort of place where people can express really important radical sentiments, and it can be used to sort of change the world. But then at the same time, it can be so trivial, and some of the stuff that people choose to post on it can be so mundane and ridiculous. And I guess I just sort of don't want to be in either of those.
So you choose to stay out.
Probably just because I'm a coward.
Well, I think you are scared of putting yourself out there, and that's because you're kind of cultivating, or you're trying to work up your way to delivering something.
Sure, but it's
I
also
think
just...
that's also dangerous, because you're actually you have already stuff to say. You are interesting, and also there is nothing wrong. I really have such a fondness for people who can just post random shit.
Yeah, but then why does posting something on social media have to be the only way that you express yourself? It's not like I don't have things to say or ways that I express myself, but I don't think that Instagram should be the proof of that.
No.
Also because it's such a sort of timestamp in a way. If I look at my posts a year ago or 2 years ago, it's such an indication of the headspace that I was in, the things that I thought were interesting, even the captions that I thought were funny a year ago are
You were very
so
sassy.
cringe-inducing now. I don't know why I use so
I
many
love
symbols.
them. I loved your captions.
But in a way, it's nice to think that you can sort of timestamp in a way. So in a year's time, I'll be able to look back and remember this period of time for me. But at the same time, I also don't want to be defined by something that I thought a year ago or 2 years ago. I find it all kind of confusing.
Weird for people who don't do it regularly, and then you look back at their Instagram and you're like, you can timestamp certain periods of their life. But for people like me who do it daily and regularly, it's just kind of a public forum for my life that I have chosen to make public, and then accidentally now have, a substantial amount of followers who have a comment to post about that. And that's quite scary, because it's not like I'm a very public figure that has, I'm just somebody who was in Harry Potter and has done doodles. But so I have a huge amount of people that have an opinion about me, but also I'm just it's not like I'm famous or I'm working constantly or whatever. I'm in a weird position because
you have
I'm
actually a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, so it's just suddenly become slightly overwhelming to have that platform, which I didn't really mean to have. But also which finances my life, because if I didn't sell my doodles via Instagram, I wouldn't have a living. So it's like it's become this weird tug of war between my job and fun. And
where we're dependent on it, but we actually resent
yeah
the fact that we're dependent on it.
And then living with a comedian whose job is to do gigs, usually, which has been just stripped from him now within this period of time. I constantly, well, at the beginning of lockdown anyway, was, you should be doing this and you should be doing this, you should be podcast out and videos and Instagram and do 2 posts a day and all of this. And it's just almost kind of completely folded in on itself, because now it's like, actually,
there's so much out there.
Why
would it even matter? But then that's a very pessimistic kind of
we are very pessimistic.
That's true.
We?
Yeah.
But creatively, I feel actually quite cleansed in this period of time. I mean, and having some time away from the relentless posting and kind of the indulgence of that, without really sensing, without having any fear of what's going on in the world, because back before this happened in March, no one could have seen this coming.
No.
And I think now the fact that we've all gone through this kind of transformation, even in small ways that we don't even realise, we've had to accommodate and get used to and adapt to, I think it is quite refreshing to think we are starting again in a way. And I just really hope that the world, I mean, obviously we're going to be going through this for a long time and it's not over. It's still really fucking dangerous out there. But at the same time, we, in terms of things like pitching ideas for sitcoms and trivial creative things that were meetings before in Soho, and now are just Zoom chats.
Quick Zoom chats on the
Or
phone.
an email.
Yeah, from people's living rooms. It makes everything so much less glamorous when you're seeing this person that in an office wearing a suit you would think is this big, fancy executive person. Seeing them in their living room and hearing their kids shouting from the other room, and they're wearing like a t-shirt with food stains all over. You kind of realize how silly we all are, and we're just trying to work together to create something.
Like
kind of
BAFTAs.
makes it, exactly, it makes it so much less intimidating.
The BAFTAs were tragic.
Exactly. It's like, I can't believe that we hold these people on such a pedestal and we think that we're not worthy, and then you just realize that they're completely ordinary people and anybody is capable of doing anything.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that we are going to do those things.
No.
But
I'm
we're
not ready
capable.
to do anything.
I'm not ready to do anything either.
But I think that my hopes for the kind of future in this period of time is that we're a little bit more gentle with each other when we start to go back to normal, even though normal is a long way away. I mean, even we were speaking to somebody yesterday who said that their office is just, they're never going to go back in. There's never going to be a full office again.
Yeah,
it's
because people are going to do shifts, different sort of rotas and whatever.
And, going into the city and realising that, most, things that we relied on before, like a coffee shop that we went to every day, now might just go because there's no other business in that area. Or that's terrifying, because now I feel okay if I've got the things that I need to be happy. When those things get taken away, suddenly it gets incredibly real. But my hopes are that we're all a bit more gentle with each other in terms of this industry and creativity and pitching ideas and putting shows out there and podcasts out there and things like that. I just hope that everybody's a little bit more gentle and accepting and positive about those ideas. Whereas before it was so cutthroat and nasty. Like I've only had horrendous experiences in this industry that still traumatic to me 10 years later. And I just don't think that will happen again. I think that the world is a little bit softer now because we're so damaged.
Do you feel, in terms of me being 10 years younger than you and sort of treading the same path in a way now of like creating stuff and trying to sort of show myself and have these different skills and show them to people, do you feel like do you feel a sense of protectiveness over me? Like you want me to not have the same bad experiences that you did? Which I guess is, we can't even prevent that now because it's a completely different world and there are going to be different kind of hurdles and whatever for, post-COVID world. Or do you kind of feel like because you had to go through that stuff that you kind of want me to go through that too and learn a little bit, which I would be completely willing for you to say.
I want it to be more harrowing for you.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, at least you're honest.
Yeah.
At least
I
you're
want
honest.
you to have a horrible time. I don't want you to get any luck. And it just to be brutal from now on in. No, of course not. I
remember we had a really, really bad fight once when we tried to work out who had a harder teenagerhood.
Oh yeah. I mean, come on, I was raped.
Okay, that's
I
true.
Get the
sure,
card.
but that's kind of a trump card at this point, and you put it out a little bit too much.
I do put it out a lot, but to be honest,
I had braces for 5 years.
If you've been raped,
I had acne when I was finishing my adolescence. Do you know what I mean? I had clear skin all the way through school, and then just when things are supposed to be getting good, then I got it really bad. Okay.
Yeah, so, I know. I to be fair, acne and braces are bad, but I think rape at 14 is pretty bad. By your tennis coach, who you trusted, a position of power.
Okay, well, at least you're an athlete and you had good legs.
Yeah, that's true. I was fit and I was very able with a tennis ball.
Sure.
But I was still taken advantage of and he was sent to jail. So it's fine. But I actually do feel that you had a much easier teenagehood than me, partly because you had me. Okay. And I was like your fun big sister who looked after
you were so fun.
I was so fun.
Yeah. No, you were fun. I mean, occasionally you did turn into an actual demon. I remember we had to block you off with a chair once, me, Ben and Jamie, as you were coming up the stairs and you had your big eyeliner on and tan that you had at the time. And then we had to say, back off, you witch.
Yeah, I was a horrible teenager, but then from 15 onwards I improved.
But
no, I do feel like rape as a teenager.
But
maybe just for my rape anecdote, actually.
Okay, so
my rape, I think, did mean that I have had a completely different adolescence and early 20s to you, because in retrospect, I was still recovering and my sexual journey was a completely abnormal road to yours. And I think that I still have, there are still consequences from that period of time that I'm only realizing, 18 years later. And actually, the more time I have away from it, the more I feel, this is going to sound awful, but I do feel quite lucky in so many ways that I had a rape that was actually
go on,
that was actually it didn't destroy me. And I think that's something that people don't talk about enough with sexual abuse and trauma. Like there are some people that are okay after. There are some people that do use it and find a way of living with it and
aren't defined by it.
I'm definitely not defined by it.
Sure.
And
I think that with our new the new wave in culture where we're allowed to, where women feel more comfortable expressing things that have happened to them, and sort of like claiming victimhood rightfully and not being sort of not believed. At the same time, there can also be this sort of maybe emphasis on victimhood being a part of who you are and that following around you for the rest of your life and embracing that in like a sort of, not a weird way, because it can be really helpful for some people, especially if it has these lasting repercussions in their life. But for someone like you, I don't think that you would view yourself as like a victim, or that everything that you've done since has been like because of what happened.
No, and I think that's a really good lesson for everything that happens in life, like with us, with our brother dying.
Which happened to me when I was 21, by the way. So
know,
you could argue that once I got past adolescence, then shit really started taking.
Yeah, I feel like I had a worse teenagerhood, but you're definitely going to have a worse 20s.
Definitely.
Yeah. And not only with death, but with corona.
Absolutely. And life in general. The world isn't as nice a place.
No, but the world was horrible when I was a teenager, though.
Sure.
Like the noughties, growing up as a teenager, we've already talked about weight and everything, and even though my experience, sorry to bring it up again, the rape was actually quite classic of the abuse of power in so many different industries in that period of time that is now being uncovered, and you know, and this is where we could obviously talk about the Murdochs and my obsession with the Murdochs.
Yeah,
but
you do like to bring that up all the time.
I think that's why
it's maybe unhelpful to link your rape to Succession.
I can relate anything to Succession.
Okay.
Anyway, I think that my relation from Succession to my rape is the sibling dynamic that we had post-rape was really interesting, because it was something that wasn't really talked about, but it was obviously like something bad had happened to Jessie, and that's why she's being a complete bitch. And it's like with Succession, I mean the corruption and the amount of covering up with the cruises.
Okay, so are we actually just going to talk about Succession now? Because you are watching it for the third time.
I'm watching it for the third time. This is something that's actually what I've realised throughout this period of what Alfie calls it the box set death march, which I think is a reference in Succession too, which I think I've managed to train Alfie, or not train, drain Alfie successfully enough that he is now just so tired of me.
Yeah.
That he's willing to just watch TV every night.
Yeah.
And I think he did have hopes of socializing again.
Yeah. But you stamped
I
that out
just
very
kind of
quick, didn't you?
Out, yeah. And I think that's quite like, because he will get to socialize again.
Of course.
And he will get to have a life again. But I think it's just quite nice having a series which you know is absolutely like the best series ever.
Exactly. And I look forward to it all day.
Yeah.
Because
I
know
need something to look forward to.
Because you know you're going to be able to sit down and not focus on any of your worries or your issues for a couple of hours.
But I'm talking specifically about Succession.
I know you are. And I'm trying to broaden it out, because not everyone will have seen Succession, Jessie.
I think everyone will have seen Succession by now.
I mean, it is a brilliant show.
Third time round.
Okay.
It's just blown my mind
I'm
again.
watching Breaking Bad for the second time through now, because I finished Better Call Saul, and so I've been watching it to go and see how Saul's character has progressed. But again, that's maybe too niche.
Oh my God, yeah, Breaking Bad was good, except I just, like, the traumatic thing happened mid Breaking Bad, so now I just can't go back. I think that's fine if we just call it the traumatic thing.
No.
Is that too, like ominous?
Then that sounds strange, because it's not, like,
yeah,
people aren't going to be sure what that is.
Yeah, that's fine. It's quite nice for it to be, like, a mystery.
Yeah, we've already referenced the fact that our brother died. So.
I just don't like saying that sentence. It's a horrible sentence to say. I don't really want to say that. Like the fucking woman in the coffee shop the other day.
Yeah.
Sabibi's birthday was recently, and we had a fun day. You look sad. Don't be sad.
I'm not sad.
Cheer up, okay? That was one of the rules.
Okay.
And I gave Bibi a beautiful photo collage.
Oh, it was so lovely. I genuinely burst into tears.
I am really, really good.
You're really good at gifts. That's one of your love languages.
No, not. Yeah, it is one of my love languages, even though I've given no gifts to Alfie. But also, men don't accept a photo collage in the same way that a woman does.
No, of course they're not going to, because they don't see life in photos, do they?
They just don't give a shit about photos.
Imagine going out with somebody that took photos of you all the time.
Exactly.
That would be amazing.
Exactly. I had the same fear as you did at this age of not having a boyfriend that was going to document my beauty at this age.
Yeah. Horatio does take a lot of photos of me, to be fair.
Does he?
But
yeah,
they're,
but they're all
always
disgusting.
from really unflattering angles that he thinks are really nice.
Yeah.
But they're all actually upsetting. I genuinely get really upset when he shows me
harrowing
some of
photos.
them.
Yeah. Alfie thought I asked Alfie to take a beautiful photo of me walking with the kids into the sea from the behind.
Yeah. You did look like a 9-year-old woman.
I was wearing your fucking swimming costume. That's disgusting.
Why did you steal it?
Get that swimming costume?
Because it's a sexy nautical swimming costume.
It's not. It's disgusting.
It makes you look like a pin-up.
It flattens your boobs.
No, it doesn't. You have to hoik them up.
No, and it's a halter neck, and it hurt. The halter neck hurts.
Because it's nice to see your sexy back, you know?
Yeah, but
I like
back, if you've got a big back already,
you do.
You have a fucking big back too.
I do not have as broad a back as you do. You're a swimmer.
Yes,
You're
fair
a swimmer.
enough. But anyway, your swimming suit was disgusting, and because of the bump, it flattened my bump, so I just looked heavy.
Yeah.
And my bum was kind of like drooping out of it, and I looked horrendous. And then he took a photo of me from the behind.
From the behind.
From the back, and he sent them all to me because he obviously had done it like, just here's the photos. He sent 28 of them to me, all of them.
You know when somebody sends you 28 photos that none of them are good, you know? They either send you a couple because they're all great, or they send you 28 because they don't even want to go through them because it's painful.
But I'm very careful when I send, because I also take like bulk photos of people.
Yeah.
And I'm very selective when I send them to people. I'm like, I'm only going to send the good ones.
Exactly, which I really appreciate, which I do always really appreciate, that you curate the selection.
I do. Very nicely. Anyway, that photo, the photos still haunt me, but it's the lighting of the sun.
Yeah. No, that's what it is. You got a beautiful body, Jessie.
But no, I don't. But at the same time, it made me really appreciate how awful it is for celebrities on the beaches with paparazzi.
Yeah.
The light on their bodies. Like how? So if there is a good photo of a celebrity on a beach,
you know that they're beautiful.
Their
in real
body
life.
must be godlike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, why were we talking? Oh yeah, my photo collage. Anyway, so I took a really beautiful. I gave BB a frame of a photo collage. It was beautiful. She basically started crying almost. We were obviously having a nice time though. We were happy.
Yeah.
And a woman in the coffee shop decided to use this moment to speak to us. She does know me. I've read a lot of books on death. I know the things to do and not to do. And a lot of the books on death say, don't be afraid of talking to the bereaved person about their loved one that's gone. Don't be afraid of bringing them up. And that's bullshit.
It's complete fucking bullshit.
It's bullshit because sometimes the person doesn't want to talk about it. They want to pretend that everything's okay. So don't...
You have to wait for the cue. If we were to bring it up, then it's something that the other person can talk about. Or you can say a sort of nice blanket statement that's close question, you know? Like, I'm really sorry to hear about what happened. All my thoughts are with you, or I hope that you're okay.
But if you've not seen them...
Exactly. If you haven't seen them, then it's a bit of a weird random thing.
But if you've not seen them, if you've seen them since and you've had that conversation since, then you drop it.
Exactly.
And then you act like everything's okay.
Exactly. But this woman, despite the fact that we said, you know, it's my
BB's birthday, we're having a nice time.
We were clearly giving presents, which already made me feel awkward doing in the presence of strangers. Because there were two girls on the table next to us that clearly were fans of yours because they were listening. Through their AirPods, they kept on like...
They were Harry Potter
taking
fans,
them out,
weren't they? You could tell them from a mile off.
Oh God, they all have this specific wild look in their eyes, you know, like they haven't quite grasped onto the idea of adulthood yet.
Yeah,
even though they're all 32.
And the telltale sign is they have a Gryffindor tote bag.
I mean, sure, that does help identify them from a distance.
But anyway, so she basically took it upon herself to say, "How are you?" in a very loaded way.
Like,
how are you?
How are you?
You know?
She did it with her eyes.
And
she did sad puppy eyes.
But I did a really good thing by immediately saying, "We can't talk about that right now."
No, because she said, "How are you?"
Oh yeah, and then we were like, "Oh, okay,
we had a little brief conversation. Clearly wanted to get out of it, but she didn't have the emotional intelligence to retreat.
It was so inappropriate. So I made the bold move, which I'm going to do again,
saying, "I can't talk about this.
I said,
we're not talking about that.
We can't talk about that right now." And that was really good because it empowered us. It put us in control.
We can't talk about that right now. That would be a good title.
We can't talk about that right now.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's nice. And so anyway, so basically my advice for people who don't know how to interact with people who have gone through something quite big lately is...
wait for them to bring it up.
Wait for them to bring it up. Sense the vibe. If they seem like they're actually quite happy at the moment, if they're fine, you stay the fuck away from that topic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it only just reminds us that that's exactly what people see when they look at us.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we don't want to be. Like, even though this is going to ultimately define our lives and be a huge thing that we have to now
deal with and confront.
Confront, overcome, and accept.
But that's for us to do. It's not for other people to look at us and that's the first thing that they think of. Even if it is, just try and pretend that it's not.
Yes, this thing did happen to us. It's up to us to now work out how to navigate our way through this, accept it if that's going to ever happen.
But that's our responsibility.
Yeah.
And hopefully other people can sort of do us the service of viewing us as the people that we are in all the other ways.
Because that's what I am desperate for people to still treat me as, the same person, but just a little bit more layered now, a little bit more trauma there.
But what makes me feel really bad, if I'm thinking of like the bad side of my personality, the pessimistic side of my brain, I do view people with the one bad thing that happened to them. I do view people with these incredibly broad brushstrokes of, oh, well, she had that year where she was like sectioned. A hormonal bitch, or, you know, oh, that person was sectioned, or, oh, she was really fat for 6 months, but then lost all the weight and then became nasty because
she went to jail.
Yeah, exactly. And I just worry that that's exactly how people view us.
Yeah, but they're usually like really like bad things. Like, I mean, obviously this is really bad, but you know, if somebody killed someone, then you would view them as, okay, well, that person killed
oh, that's
someone.
Stabby Joe.
But yeah, I think that is inevitable. That's going to happen because it's still so fresh and still so new. But I don't think I do. People are all self-absorbed. No one gives a shit.
I know.
They really don't give a shit. They can't comprehend what's happened to us because it hasn't happened to them. Once it happens to them, they'll be able to think back like I do when I realised that, oh, actually I had a friend whose brother died at that age, but I just didn't have the comprehension. I didn't have the emotional intelligence to do anything about it. So I just dealt with her as her at that period of time, and people just don't have that memory recall. Next episode we're going to talk about when my boyfriend just stops drinking, and I could talk about that for about 5 years. So that's fine.
Okay, so should we wrap this up?
Yeah, because it's fucking hot.
Yeah.
We have fucked our bodies up, basically.
Sure. And our minds.
And our minds.
But not our faces. Maybe mine a little bit.
You look a bit ruined.
Thanks.
No, so do I.
It's because I'm anemic.
Increasingly ruined. Yeah, you are heavily anemic, but that's because of the coil.
My periods are so heavy.
Next episode, we're going to be talking about why Bibi should get her coil out.
And not tell my boyfriend. That's what your plan was. Just see how he reacts, you know? It'd be good for him. It'd be a good challenge.
Yeah, seriously, if you haven't seen how somebody responds to the girlfriend telling them that you're pregnant,
exactly, at a young age,
prematurely,
sure,
then
when the relationship isn't ready for that,
you gotta test them.
Exactly, it's good.
You gotta test them.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe in the next episode we'll also talk about how. Or what other things can we talk about? We continue to talk about Succession and my obsession with the Murdochs.
I want to talk about YouTubers next episode.
YouTubers.
Because I've become obsessed with YouTubers who previously were bodybuilders, who now have fucked up their bodies so much by their drastic eating habits, the diets that they've been on, that they have decided to turn to a life of binging every day. And so they film these videos in their cars where they pick up crates and crates of donuts and pastries and breakfast items, food that they have been denying themselves for years, and they just eat them slowly, and you just see the glory on their faces. There's this one girl called Stephanie who used to be like in the competitions, the bikini competitions where you tan yourself and every muscle in your body is defined, and she's realized that she's fucked up her body so much, and she's like a scientist as well. She's at university studying cancer treatment. She's a fascinating woman. And now she just dedicates every day to eating 5,000 calories a day and filming it. And it's beautiful.
Is she big?
She's really big now.
That's
really,
why you
really
like
big.
the program, isn't it?
Exactly. But she's sexy.
Well,
and she's so cool, and I love watching that. So we're going to talk about that next time.
Well, my new obsession is MMA wrestling, and I think I'm going to get into it.
What's MMA stand
It's
for?
like, I don't really know what it stands
Mixed
for.
martial arts.
Maybe.
Yeah. I went out with a guy once that was into the medieval martial arts, where you dress up and then you get like the antique swords, and that was the biggest turn on I've ever had in my life.
Anyway, I think I'm going to
still let him walk me home.
Let me finish the fucking sentence.
Sorry.
I am actually going to become a wrestler. That's my new mission.
Sure.
Like Jodie Marsh. Do you remember her?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Jodie Marsh? You're too young for Jodie Marsh references.
She was in Big Brother, wasn't she?
Yeah, Celebrity Big Brother, with the one with George Galloway.
Where he was pretending to be a cat. That's such good TV.
That's the best TV ever. Anyway, so I think I might document my journey of becoming an MMA wrestler.
Okay.
Once this baby's out.
Sure.
The tiny baby.
You can just put him in your handbag like a little dog.
Yeah.
You don't have handbags. I don't know why I said that.
Like tote bag?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's stop talking now.
Yeah, let's stop talking now. Bitch.